The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. What is up, everybody? We are counting down the week. We are on a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends, as always, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, there's no better place than Greenwood Chevrolet. Pop them up right there. There they are. Like I said, no better place to go. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show. Every single day, we will continue to do that. Today, we have a great show. We're going to recap the action last night on a Wednesday. We're going to kind of get you up to date on all the games that have been postponed or games that are happening tonight, because that has been kind of a big storyline of the day. There's obviously, if you look outside, doesn't take long to say that the weather is not exactly great today. It has forced a couple of cancellations. There are still games that have been officially greenlit that are going to be happening tonight, but some games have also been postponed. We'll get you up to date on that. We'll wait for the later in the show to do that, because most of those decisions are made at least, like if it's 2 o'clock, most of them are made. Some of them maybe might push a little bit later towards 3. But by the hour closer to 2, most of those decisions are pretty down pat, especially for days like this where the weather comes early in the morning and cancels school. The later decisions usually come when the snow is hitting during the day, and maybe you were able to have school because it wasn't bad in the morning, but things have kind of forced you to cancel stuff during the day. That's when the late decisions happen. So by 2 o'clock, we should have a really good idea of what games are and aren't happening. By all means, if you see something that we don't, and during that update that you see a game that maybe is canceled that we don't, by all means, please let us know. We try to stay as up to date as possible, but we rely on other people, right? We rely on other people relaying information to us. So if you see a game out there that is postponed that you think maybe we don't know about, never, ever, ever feel bad about messaging us. We cannot have too many messages. We would love, even if we already knew it, like we would love a message saying, "Hey, by the way, just to let you guys know, this game's postponed." That would actually make my day to get those kind of messages in our inbox, because that means that you guys out there, our listeners, our fans, are thinking about us during the day and how we're running things. So, oh man, by all means, let us know. Let us know out there. Because there weren't a lot of games last night, we are going to have a double dose of player profiles on the show today. We're going to go into Heartland Christian for both of them. We're going to hear from one of the boys and one of the girls from Heartland Christian. Ty Bartell had the chance to talk to both of them early on before the season started. And we had once Gary Leininger, our ace photographer, was able to get out to both those teams and get pictures of both our athletes. We were able to post them as content. So now that they've both been posted, we will play them on the show. Once again, one of our rules here on Running Point, we try not to at least premiere interviews unless they're on the show, of course. We try to make sure they're up on the website before they get up on this show. That way, we can direct you to post or a YouTube video if you do miss some of it. So both these interviews, like all the ones that we have done, have been posted on ysnlive.com. And if you miss either one of them in their entirety, you can go. I mean, if you missed any minute of either one of them today on the show, you can see them in their entirety on ysnlive.com and our YouTube page. Today it will be Johnny Meyer from Harlan Christian and Rachel Reynolds from Harlan Christian as well. Both those players going to be featured on today's show. Let's go into the scoreboard first, though. We do have games from last night that did happen, and we will talk about those. We'll start with boys basketball. Only two of them. Jefferson and Pymatuning Valley, the Falcons, get the win 78-60 over the Lakers. And then that boys-girls doubleheader, East Palestine able to hold off Wellsville 55-53, the final score. East Palestine gets the win there. Girls basketball, we go into St. John. They got the big win over Horizon Science Academy, 61-16. Louisville gets edged out by Crestwood, 50-48. Tough one for the Leopards. Mohawk, they get a 52-43 decision not to go their way against Riverside. We scroll on and we see the Jefferson girls, although their boys hosted, their girls went on the road at Madison, and they fell in a very tough game, very, very competitive game, high scoring, 70-63. Perry wins again. Their girls are on a good win streak. They win over Richmond Heights on the road, 52-39, the final score in that one. Fitch goes on the road inside the conference against Howland. They fall to the Tigers by the final score of 61-44. How about Boardman going on the road and getting a big upset win in the AAC? They win at Warren Harding, 37-35. This makes things a lot easier for Canfield inside the conference. Warren Harding already had one loss, and it kind of felt like it still might come down to Canfield and Warren Harding, the way those two teams are playing. But now, with losses to Howland and Boardman, Harding sitting with two losses, and Canfield has that lead over them, and the one-game lead now over Howland, who it also helps out because now Howland is sitting alone in second place. So that AAC got some help from Boardman with that win over Warren Harding. Boardman, by the way, also with one loss right there with Howland. I should say their only loss so far in the conference is against Canfield. We go to Salem. They hosted Carrollton. The Warriors come into Salem to get the win, 56-39, the final score in that one. How about the big one in Youngstown? Cardinal Mooney avenges a 10-point loss earlier in the season to Cheney. They get the overtime win, 47-44. Texting back and forth with Coach DiOrio after the game, and he kind of said, hey, we're starting to figure things out a little bit. We took some time, but we're starting to really execute a lot better on both sides of the floor. And I think that proves it. You're playing the same team that you lost to by 10 earlier in the season. You play them again, and you beat them. And that shows progress. That shows growth. And that's all that matters for Mooney. You're playing in a very small conference that you still have a chance to win, actually. With this win, it's not out of the realm of possibility to win the Steel Valley Conference. But at the end of the day, with a mainly independent schedule outside of the three other teams in the conference, Mooney's goal is to just strive towards tournament time. And yes, their record is not what they wanted so far. Excuse me. But Coach DiOrio sees a positive progression, which is all you can ask for. When you get hit into February, it doesn't matter what your record is. It matters how well are you playing at that moment. And Mooney has played a brutal schedule. Hoban, Howland, Boardman, Cheney, twice, Ursuline, twice. It's never a let up for Mooney. So when they get in the tournament, when they see a few teams that aren't on that level necessarily, they might be able to make a big run despite what their record looks like. Speaking of Steel Valley Conference, we have East going to Ursuline. Ursuline takes care of them 47-40. Ursuline girls are starting to have a little bit of a win streak as well. They're in the same boat. Their record's not exactly what they wanted yet overall, but you look at what they're doing, the progress they're making. They're a team that can be dangerous in the tournament. You got to watch out for the Irish. Edgewood goes into Conneaut and gets the win, but it was a fight. The Spartans, who have had a very struggle season, really fight the Warriors at home, but Edgewood does come out with the win, 69-64, the final score. But a big night for Conneaut. I think that score right there has to be a big moral victory, although moral victories don't really mean much, and I'm not a huge fan of moral victories. When you're a team that's struggling the way Conneaut is right now, and you go into a game against Edgewood, who living on top of the world in that conference, beating everybody pretty handedly. You fight tooth and nail with them and really push them to the brink. That's a big night for Conneaut. They're going to take a lot out of this game and try to see what they can do to play like that again the next time they play a high quality team, but make those finishing plays and pull off the win. Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Can you get the win? Can you make those plays to get the win against those teams? Otherwise, it's just, oh, it's a good story. They played them hard. But now, if you take the next step and make those game-winning plays, then it's not just, oh, it's a good story. They played hard. It's this team stunned them. This team got the upset. That's what Conneaut wants, and I think they're taking strides. I think that's 3 teams in a row that have really shown growth over the season, and Conneaut is the third on the scoreboard. Hoban, yeah, they've grown a little, but they started out pretty good, and they're still pretty good. They beat Laurel, who's one of the top ranked teams in the region, I guess I should say. 61-49. Hoban takes care of business inside the castle. They have won 13 in a row. Warren JFK hosting Mogador, and their offense rolls over the Wildcats 62-32, the final score there over Mogador. United hosting Sandy Valley. They fall 53-29. Middle Ridge had one of their best offensive performances of the year, and they did it against the South Range defense that is usually very good, but the Rams hit threes like crazy. Sullivan Sandy finishing with the high 28 points on the night. She hit 5 threes, I believe, in that 28 points. They just went off. When you're shooting, you're shooting, and there's nothing a defense can do when a team gets hot, and that's what they did. South Range actually had a pretty good day offensively. CC Foster stayed hot. She had 3 threes in the game. Pretty balanced day. Anytime you can score 40 for South Range and your leading scorer is kind of held in check, Gwen Lowry only with 3, that's got to be a little bit of a positive for Jeff Fischel, because he knows, okay, we're not going to give up 75 points maybe ever again this year. Offenses just aren't going to do that against this team. But if we can find ways to score like that, and then you add on the fact that Gwen Lowry is usually going to get hers, you add another 8, 9, 10 points from her, you're in the 50s. South Range would love to live in the 50s. I think there are things that South Range can take away from this game. Of course, you never want to lose by 35 points. That's one of the things that you're going to just have to, bandage your wounds. But there are things that I'm trying to sound optimistic. I know it's like, I bet there are people rolling their eyes like, oh my gosh, he's trying to make a 35-point loss sound good. But I think there are things. I think CC Foster getting hot right now is good for South Range. That's what 8 threes in 2 games for her, if I'm not mistaken. That's good news for the Raiders. Sophia Lucente saw some shots fall last night for the Raiders. When they get back in the conference play, everything's right in front of them. If they have CC Foster hot in conference play, if they have Sophia Lucente confident in offense in conference play, they're 1 game back. They can make a run for this NE8. West Branch goes to Alliance, and Alliance they're in a trouble spot right now, and it's not going to get any easier with this EBC. West Branch wins big, 67-4 over the Aviators. Last but not least, in the boys-girls doubleheader, Wellsville gets the win over East Palestine on the girls' side, 34-19, the final score for Wellsville. So that does it for our scoreboard from last night. We will be back in the scoreboard a little bit later on in the show and talk about the games tonight. But until then, we're going to roll one of our interviews, then we'll take a commercial break, roll the next one, and then we'll get back to the scoreboard. So we'll start on the boys' side for Heartland Christian. It is Johnny Mayer from Heartland with Ty Bartell. Enjoy this interview on Running Point.
What's up, everybody? And with another edition of Player Profile, as we're heading over to the Heartland Christian community with one of the Lions basketball players this year, one of their seniors, Johnny Meyer, joining me today. Johnny, how we doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Not doing too bad as we're rapidly counting down the days to opening tip-off. I know it's exciting for you going into senior year. What has the excitement surrounding senior year been like for you? What's the excitement going into this year been like for you?
Honestly, just last year, trying to leave it all out there and have a career best year for last year.
When you talk about last year's run too, man, I mean, you guys went on an unthinkable run, I think, in the tournament. You were quote unquote, I think, underdogs in every single one of your matchups, and you guys were able to pull off a ton of upsets in the tournament run, getting all the way to that final. When you talk about that last year's run and how you guys were able to come together at the end too, talk about what that special run meant to you and how that's kind of fueled your fire going into this year.
Well, it kind of gave us experience so then we know how to recreate what we did. And really, we just been trying to get back to it, trying to get the chemistry stronger and stronger each day. Just trying to get better each day and just trusting coach.
When you talk about what you're looking to do out on the floor this year too, what are some of your personal goals and what are some of the team goals this year?
Really, all my personal goals are really the same as team goals, just trying to get better every day, make it back hopefully to districts and make it farther and just continue getting better every day.
What are you seeing right now out of practices and scrimmages that you guys have been able to participate into that you feel about this team too as one of the senior leaders?
We definitely got heart. We're definitely going at it every second, giving it our all, and really just got to keep on doing that, and we'll be in a good position.
You're transitioning into a senior leadership role this year too. Talk to me what that's been like too. Was that a kind of a fish out of water feeling for you, or did you step right into it and feel comfortable going into that senior leader role?
Honestly, kind of got introduced to it during football season, being more and more of a leader. So it was like understanding things, trying to get everything all the way to the way it has to be, and then just getting ready and just going out there and doing everything I got to do. Continue being vocal, helping everybody out, and just understanding everything and just helping.
When you're a senior too, I mean, it's always talking about the first last of a lot of things. I mean, a lot of people bring it up. Do you let that kind of loom in your mind, or is that something that you're not even thinking about? Are you taking things like one day at a time?
I don't really like to think about it. I like to just each day, just take it one day at a time, just try to go harder and harder each day and get better each day.
When we talk about your journey in the sport of basketball, let's go back to some of your first chapters in the sport. What are some of your earliest memories that you have? What's the first time you remember picking up a ball?
Starting out, first time I ever actually playing organized basketball because I did wrestling before basketball. So just playing and just a group of kids, us all growing up together and then just playing for the first year. That was fun.
Who have been some of your bigger role models, both inside of sports and outside of sports, that you've looked up to throughout your life?
Honestly, Will Morgan from last year, as a senior last year, really just looked up to him because he never really cared who you were. He was going to go at you as hard as he could and was going to give it his all.
What does that kind of translate to for you this year? Do you feel like you want to step into that type of role too, and be kind of like that pest on defense too, and that enforcer on offense?
Yeah, definitely just not being scared no matter how big the school is we're playing against or how big the teams are. Not being scared, going out there, giving it my all, and just hoping for the win.
In the sport of basketball, what is something that you think from freshman year to senior year now that you think you've grown in the most?
Definitely my maturity. Just care. In the past, I cared more so about stuff outside of basketball, that stuff, and getting into high school. And definitely now that it's my senior year, I will say I've locked in. Definitely caring about sports, understanding that it's my last year, giving it my all, and just taking it day by day.
As a person, same question from freshman year to senior year. What's the thing you've grown in most too in your personal life as a person?
Definitely maturity and just understanding how to handle things. handling the hard hits and just getting back at it and just giving it my all in each and everything.
When do you feel like that turn in maturity started happening for you too? Was it a situation, or what was it that made you feel like, all right, I need to shape up a little bit?
Definitely, I was just a bit wild freshman year. I feel like everyone kind of is a little bit. It's the freshman year, first time, high school, being around everyone that's older. Kind of feel like you got to, act a little, way to kind of get a little spotlight on you. But definitely, I've matured since then a lot.
When you talk about your high school experience as a whole, too, I feel like it's a good question to always ask high schoolers now, because I feel like even me, just being shortly removed from being in high school, I feel like I could feel a disconnect between players now and student athletes in today's world. So I can't even imagine what coaches might feel in certain aspects too. What is it like being a student athlete in today's world? How are you able to time manage to and navigate through the challenges of being a student athlete and find success in both?
Yeah, it's definitely a little hard, but really just trusting the coaching staff, trusting the teachers at the school and everything, and just understanding that you're all, school comes first and just getting school done, focusing on school, and then when it's time for practice, just giving it your all and just trusting the coaches.
We'll get into the coaches a little bit here, but I also want to know about some teachers that you've had throughout your high school journey too. Who are some teachers that have served an impact in your life too, that have helped you or taught you a lesson or have helped you along the way in high school?
Definitely Mr. Franken. He's actually our baseball coach. He just was always there for me, always talking to me whenever I wanted to talk, and I'm a talker, so I've definitely even this year I've been in his classroom for at least 30 minutes during a free period, just talking to him and actually playing baseball this year for him. So
It's the hangout spot. He got you. He got you
yeah.
into the diamond. What about Coach Scott too? I know him as one of the better coaches in the entire area too, for his way to be able to connect with players too, and be able to talk to them on a very real basis too. What is your experience like with Coach Scott too? What's he been able to do and help shape you as a player and as a person?
Well, it's definitely really nice having a coach who's so understanding and just tries to talk to you, doesn't yell really at us at all. Just tries to understand us and understand things and get the problems, solved and everything. So it's been really nice. And main reason why I came to Heartland was because of Coach Scott and everything, and the coaching staff and Pops, Coach Z. At the time, Coach Patterson was here.
When we look at your journey in basketball too, what has been some of your favorite memories in the sport, and maybe whether it's on or off the court?
Yeah. Definitely has to be the playoff run, on the floor, and just how we all stayed together, connected, hanging out with each other at someone's house after every game, every practice. That was definitely, I would say, the highlights of my career and just the best moments that I will remember forever.
Coach Scott put it as playing with for one more day together. Was that a very real feeling in last year's team and a very real experience?
Yeah, it definitely was. I just got goosebumps as you said that, because I remember practice every day, just, knowing we really had to give it our all, or it may be the last time seeing each other on the basketball court. So we
Looking at
definitely. Oh,
looking
my
at
fault.
this year, no, you're good. Looking at this year and your senior year, you're one of the leaders for this team this year. By the end of the year, what do you want or what do you hope, I guess, the guys said about you as a senior leader? And when everything's said and done with Heartland Christian too, what do you hope they said about Johnny Meyer after everything's said and done?
I really hope they say that I helped encourage them. I don't, I hate getting mad at anybody. So I hope they say, I never really got mad at them. I always try to be understanding, talking to them, and that I definitely cared about their mental health and everything about them outside of basketball and school.
What are some of your goals out after high school is said and done too? What are some goals for yourself after it?
Honestly, maybe play collegiate basketball, but if not, get into a trade and just get ready for that life and just put my head down and grind in that life too.
Always ready to put your head down and grind. When you talk about playing collegiate basketball too, I mean, you need a certain level of skill. I think you're in that discussion for sure, young man too. But when you talk about collegiate basketball too, anything that you're in particular looking for, or you're just looking for any type of opportunity?
Really just any type of opportunity, it's always just as a kid, been a dream to play at the next level, and really trying to just leave it all out there and give myself the best chance of, being able to do that.
Well, we're excited for you this year. We're going to be rooting for you hardcore, no doubt. I need you to do a couple things for me, though. I've been doing this with a lot of coaches. I'm going to do this with you as well. I need you to shout out that Heartland community. Let them know why they need to come out and support you guys this year, why they're going to be worth supporting you guys this year. But also because basketball happens right around Thanksgiving, I need you to shout out your favorite Thanksgiving Day dish.
All right. Definitely would say you got to come to the first game because just the environment, everything. It's going to be something special, especially this year. It's our first game. You know, it's going to be a little bit different than last year. We got to just see how we do out there. It's going to be fun to watch. And favorite dish, my mom makes it every Thanksgiving, bubble bread. I don't know why.
Bubble bread?
Yeah.
What is it? So give me the rundown.
It's like kind of like one of those funnel cake pans, but you cook bread in it. It has like garlic and butter, and it's all like, you know, very soft bread in the middle. And I don't know, I always just eat a bunch of it.
It feels like a breadstick kind of vibe, but like a big one almost. Like, okay, all right.
It's almost like if it's soft as a cake inside, and you know, it has a little bit of garlic to it, butter, seasoning. So
all right,
really good. I love it.
All right, Mrs. Meyer, bubble bread. All right, I'm gonna have to give that a little bit of a look. Never heard of it. Yeah, your first one for some bubble bread. Give some love to that. I also want to give you a chance to, before we let you go, Johnny, give some love, give a shout out, give a spotlight to anybody else that's helped you along the way in your journey that you feel deserves a little bit.
I would definitely have to say all the older role models I have that are just in the communities that I live in and just playing pickup basketball with them and them always looking out for me, always trying to make me better and then talking to me about my basketball games and wanting to be able to come to some this year. Definitely has, you know, helped me out a lot, you know, because I'll just go play pickup basketball. I got 10 different grown men just encouraging me, trying to get me better every play. And it means a lot.
Well, Johnny, we're excited for you this year. We're rooting for you in your senior year. We're rooting for the Lions per usual. And in due time, YSN, we'll see you out there on the hardwood here real soon.
All right. Thank you.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online.
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
And on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Oh, they caught me. I like doing that little drum outro for the Dickey commercial. Came out and it came out off the commercial early. Dang. You get to see my wackiness. Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Before the break, you heard from Johnny Meyer from Heartland Christian. Now we're going to go right back into the same school. The other side of the basketball programs in Rachel Reynolds from the girls' side, also with Ty Bartell.
What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell in with another edition of player profile, as this time we head to our friends over in the Heartland Christian Community girls basketball team, one of the seniors for that program, Rachel Reynolds, joining me today. Rach, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not doing too bad. And boy, you weren't doing too bad last season too, and helping this Lions team have their most successful year, literally of all time. So you talk about your success with this program, what you did last year. I know Coach Lib was talking about your hunger going into this year too. Talk about your success as a whole last year and how you want to pivot, how you want to get more your hunger for this year.
Last year I came in as a junior. We had 3 seniors. We lost them now, but they were great. I've been here since 3rd grade. I've always had, a spirit for the game. I love basketball. As soon as I hit that court, it's game mode, no matter if I know somebody or not. So last year, going in we ended with the new record. We doubled our school record that we had with 7 wins. And honestly, I think that we should have had more, but we had a great season. It was amazing. Everyone really wanted it. We were a team. We're a family. I had my sister last year as a freshman, and then some other girls. We have Emmy coming up this year. We're really eager to get those wins, break even more records. We've been working really hard at practice. Everyone gets along. We're really good friends. Everyone cares for one another. We're always building each other up. We never really fight on the court. Everything's good, and we're just really wanting to even do better than last year. We did really good, but we're not satisfied yet. And, now we're in the new conference. I'd love to get some banners up and even get the team to a better level for even when I graduate, that they'll do better than even I can in the years to come.
You wear the team spirit on your sleeve too, and it's well evident with that, young lady. And when you talk about just being able to be a part of the team that had that type of success too, I'm sure there's a ton of pride that you take in that too. But I know you want more going into this year. How much does Heartland community mean to you too? How prideful are you to wear that lion on your jersey too, and carry this Heartland community on your sleeve?
So much. I've been here. This is the only school I've ever gone to. I've been here since kindergarten. I started playing basketball as soon as I could. My brother played. My sister played. It's been a huge thing in our family. I've known everyone for as long as they've been here. Everyone here is like siblings to me, and we just, always gotten along. It's such an honor to be able to go here. It's a privilege. It's really helped me, even in life in general. And the athletics here, it's such a privilege to be involved in it. And it's just so exciting. And I'm so glad to see how the season's going to go.
When you talk about your basketball journey in particular, I'm curious where some of those first chapters started for you. What's some of the earliest memories you have in the sport of basketball when you first remember having the ball in your hand?
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. I used to play in the West Branch gyms in 3rd and 4th grade. I remember I asked a referee one time for a practice shot in my 3rd grade game, and he said no. And I decided to take it anyways, and it was at the other team's hoop, and I scored for them. I remember that. It was quite embarrassing, but hey, I made my shot. And then I tend to have a temper, so I got a technical in my 4th grade game. I remember this girl stole the ball off of one of my guards. I think it was Rebecca Geis, maybe. And
you weren't having it.
Yeah, she took off the court, and I was not having that. And I just sprinted my butt down there and just wiped the girl out. It was so bad. She started crying. She got hurt. I got ripped out of my game. But, little things like that, I was like, she is not scoring.
Yeah. When you talk about that, and you're from the young ages too, and there's always something too that we grow in as players too, as we continue to mature. You look at that from early age, your early ages in basketball to now senior year. What are some of the things you're most proud of growing in as a player from when you started to now?
Oh my goodness. Definitely my connections with other players and leadership. I feel very privileged that I'm a senior now with these great groups of girls, and they look up to me as being here my whole life. I've waited for this. It's really exciting. I love being a captain. Even coming up to like my freshman year from the transition of middle school to high school, I've always been like one of the few girls in my class who plays basketball. Right now I'm our only senior, and so I've always played up with other girls, and just now that I'm the one leading them, it's just really special for me. It's a good opportunity, and I'm really excited to do it.
You talked about waiting for senior year. So was taking that next step in a leadership role, was it something that you felt comfortable with? Did you feel a little fish out of water? I mean, with your situation too, being the lone senior, everyone is looking to you now. You are kind of like that team captain too. Does that feel like pressure on your shoulders, or do you feel more natural in it?
I feel more natural in it because I've been here my whole life and I know everybody. But then there's the other half of it that is like, yeah, there's a lot of pressure. Like, it's all on me. Everyone looks up to me. But I feel like I'm good under pressure. I'm like able to make more decisions. It's easier for me. I'm not very indecisive when it comes to things like that. So I don't think it's going to be very hard. I'm more excited to do it than I am scared.
We talked about the player side. What's the one thing, or what's some things, I guess, a few things if you want to, that you're most proud of that you've grown in as a person from freshman year to now?
Oh, let's see. Definitely my attitude. Whenever I came in freshman year, sophomore year even, I was just not having it, going through my teenage stages. I hated school, did not want to be here, coming to sports, always being tired. I was just like a little mouther. I never shut up. I was always talking, yapping, but, like now I'm able to understand things, get it under control. Like, I have respect for other players, not just myself or like even coaches. Like, I think that I've just grown in that aspect, and now that I'm a leader, it's just a lot different and everyone's looking up to me, so I have to be able to be humble enough to keep myself under control and know everything I do is for God.
I love the way that you're able to talk about that too, and talk about some of your weaknesses, because it's not always easy to talk about that too. And I love that you chose to bring that up when you talk about places and points that you've grown in as well. When you talk about that too, I think a good player always is able to recognize their weaknesses as well as their strengths. When you look at this team this year, winning 14 games last year too, I know you guys are hungry for more. What do you think it's going to take to, from a senior leader mindset, for you guys to have that same success, for you guys to be able to do more than what you did last year? What do you think it's going to take for you guys to see that type of success?
Well, we're definitely down the numbers this year, but we're hungrier than ever, want to come back. As long as like we're all healthy, all doing our best, working hard, getting good grades in school. Our parents are very supportive. The boys team is, Josh, our athletic director, siblings, everyone's a family here. And I think that we have the support that we need, the fans we need. We tend to play a lot better when we have big crowds. But even if we don't, ultimately everything is in God's control. We always do our best and play for him. And I'm just really excited to see how it turns out.
When you look at this season too, I'm also excited to see how you guys are going to be able to perform on that court too, and play with that type of hunger and that type of mentality. We talked about some of your early memories in the sport of basketball. What are some of your favorite memories in the sport of basketball, whether it's on or off the court?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, no problem. I said we were talking about some of your early memories in the sport of basketball, but I want to know some of your favorite memories in the sport, whether it's on or off the court.
Oh, I honestly don't know. Maybe one of them was my freshman year when Maddie Matthews was still a senior, Jordan Brown, Lexi Rice, all of them. We won senior night against Lisbon. And I remember just carrying it up in the paint, trying to get as many rebounds as I could just to save that game. And Jordan, I think, hit a three towards the end. Lexi and Maddie came in with some shots. I had a screen at half court that just got blown out of the water. I don't know. That was a junior high, freshman year, be a part of that as a freshman. was really exciting, and I love that. And then, last year being able to play with my sister Sarah was an amazing opportunity. I love that. She's like the sweetest girl, but on the court we're both we're both animals.
I love when you talk about that and you have that game recollection. You can remember games, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I can't think of the other word I'm looking for. Yes, but you can remember those games too, and you have really good memory and how those games played out too, and that's pretty impressive for you. What's some of your role models though, whether it's in the sport of basketball or not? What's some of your role models that you've had that you've kind of looked up to?
I'd say Coach Lib. He's really led us through a lot. My previous years we've had coaches quit on us, coaches not care, but we should have been. He's cared about us through everything. He's just always been there for us. And then my parents have been great. They've always been like my biggest supporters. They both play basketball in high school, so this has been like a really important thing to them through their family. Same as my siblings, and especially Sarah. It's just been so special being able to play with her. This is my last year, so I'm really gonna, cherish it. And like my other friends, but I've really looked up to them through my whole career.
When you talk about your family all being involved in the sport too, how late do those conversations about basketball go after the game too? Or does everything get shut down, or do the conversations about the game linger for into the night?
There's so many, especially coming from a team who wasn't fundamentally sound for the longest time, and now that we're starting to improve, there's so many conversations that my parents have carried on, being like so many different things that like, Rachel, you need to see this, like all these opportunities, you guys have so much space to go. Like they're just really excited for us to improve, and they're just eager to like tell me how. And it's just like, I know, but we need to take it slower. Like we're getting there. But they're really excited. My family loves basketball. I love it. I'm gonna be really sad when I'm done. But conversations never.
It's the baby steps too, with the growth and the fundamentals, no doubt, no doubt. What are some of your plans though after you talked about it? You're hinting it. I know you're going to experience a lot of first, last this year with senior year. But what are some of your plans after you're everything's said and done with Heartland Christian?
Yeah, I'm in college, so I don't think I'm going to unless I need a business degree. But I'm actually going to go to trade school and do cosmetology.
So what made you go down that route too? And I mean, trade schools, well, there's plenty of them too, and plenty of people finding success. What was cosmetology? What drew you to it, and what made you want to pursue that?
Ever since I was a kid, I loved doing my hair, my makeup, watching it be done, and I've always been super, super good at it. So I'm excited to do that. And then since I just hated school, I was like, I don't want to go to college. I feel like cosmetology is a good career. A lot of trades are needed now. So that's what I decided to do, and I'm really excited.
What are some of your future goals now, both with the team, without the team? Once you're done with high school, what are some of your goals that you've set forth for yourself?
Oh my goodness. But I'm gonna come back hopefully with the team and help them improve. My sister's still gonna be playing, so I would like to like come back, practice with them, see how they're doing. Just work, honestly. I want to get it cranked out. Have a good life. Start off simple.
Put in that work too, and keep that basketball connect a little bit. Before we let you go, Rachel, I want to give you that opportunity to shine a light and on anybody else that you want. Give them some love too, and shout them out here.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, no problem. I was just saying, I'm going to give you the chance. Spotlight anybody else. Give them some love. Shout out anybody else that's helped you in your journey along the way.
Oh, definitely shout out to Josh Scott, our athletic director. He's been great. I have him for multiple sports because he oversees everything. He's been like really nice. Sometimes I just come chill in his office, talk to him. He's been really sweet. He's always willing to talk to me, help me, whatever. And Emily McDowell, she's great. She's a sophomore along with my sister, and I don't know what I would do without her. She's the sweetest little thing. I'm always talking to her. We get along great at practice. She's like my buddy.
Well, Rachel, we're rooting for you this year. We're rooting for that whole Lions team this year. I know you guys have some goals this year, and I hope you guys are able to accomplish them too and continue putting that spotlight on that Heartland Christian Lions team. We're wishing you the best of luck, and we'll be seeing you out on the hardwood here real soon.
Thank you.
That was Rachel Reynolds from Heartland Christian as we feature those programs today. What great interviews. We want to always thank Ty Bartell for putting in the work, going the extra mile. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, for you guys and for these communities. We love having Ty Bartell voice back on the show. We remember the days when he was on this show every day, and he's one of the reasons why it really is where it is. So love it when I can get the chance to put Ty Bartell on the show. He does a lot of great work. Let's go back into the scoreboard, get a little bit of an update. We had a few actually come in, cancellations and postponements during those interviews. We are now even more updated than we were at the top of the show about what's going on tonight. So here's how it looks. I'm going to bring up the scoreboard. We have our spreadsheet updated as well to make sure that we're good to go on all these games. Boys basketball, Lakeside Crestwood, we have not heard otherwise yet. Hoban and St. Vincent St. Mary, same thing. We have not heard anything contradictory to having that game happening. Brookfield and Champion has been postponed tonight. We have not heard that Liberty and Crestview are postponed, so we're going to continue going as if that game is going to happen at 7 o'clock. Garfield and LeBray will play a boys-girls doubleheader tomorrow. Same thing with Southeast and Newton Falls. They've both been postponed tonight. Mohawk is going to be on the road at Aliquippa. We go to girls basketball tonight. Campbell and Lowville has been postponed. East Palestine and Lisbon has been postponed. Maplewood and Wyndham, they have already rescheduled. They will play it tomorrow at 4:30. Jackson Milton and Springfield has been postponed and rescheduled. January 29th at Jackson Milton, both those teams will play. We have not gotten an update on Badger versus Cocker, so as of now, that game is good to go. Same thing with Wellsville and Latonia. Ashtabula St. John and Grand Valley in the same boat. We have not heard either way. So we're going to go as if those games are happening. Harlan Christian hosting Toronto. United and Valley Christian has been postponed. No makeup date announced yet. Hubbard and Lakeview still happening. Niles and Girard, I talked to Coach Bordemus. That game seems to be good to go. Poland and Struthers have already updated that they are officially on tonight. They're helped out by the fact that those schools are so close together that it's not really dangerous at all to travel to one another. So they're going to be playing tonight. So the NE8 is all in action as of now, which we've all known how crazy the NE8 can be. So that's good for basketball fans. Those games promise to be interesting. We scroll over and hear that Beaver Local and Edison has been postponed. I just talked to Coach Sandy over at Middle Ridge, the assistant coach. He says they're still on for now, so we are greenlit for now for McDonald and Middle Ridge. Southern Local traveling to Columbiana. That game has been postponed and moved to January 29th. They'll play each other then. Beaver will be having a really big game for the Bobcats on the road at Blackhawk. When you look at the what's on the line for this game at Beaver, first place on the line. This is probably the biggest game of the season so far for Beaver. The Bobcats with a win will at least share first place in the section with Blackhawk. So they got to win. They got to win against Blackhawk. They got to get the share of the section. They're trying to do that tonight on the road. It'll be a big one for the Bobcats. We'll see what they can do. That game is set to go 7:30 start time in Blackhawk at Blackhawk High School. Should be a fun one for the Bobcats. We'll stay up to date on what's going on there. So that is it. That is how updated we are. If we have any other changes or cancellations or postponements, we'll definitely share those with you guys. Make sure to check out our scoreboard. That's live updated as well. There are no games right now that are on that scoreboard that are postponed that we heard of that aren't reflected on that scoreboard. So our guys excuse me, that came out of nowhere, but our guy Mike Swinehart, who does the scoreboard, staying on top of things like he always does. So that scoreboard should be very well updated. So if you're questioning if your game's happening, you can go to the scoreboard, and if we've heard it, it'll be reflected on the scoreboard on ysnlive.com/scores. It is brought to you and presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. That will do it for today's episode of Running Point. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. What a great show we did have. And we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, to talk about more basketball, right? Hopefully we get some games in tonight and we don't get hit with more weather between now and game time. That's always fingers crossed. And we'll be good to go. So we'll see you all next time on Running Point. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a wonderful day. Greenwood Chevrolet and Austin Down, your presenting sponsor.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.